Hey, Hoagie's Garage.
Hi, bud.
It's Nationals week. Great week.
Lots of racing to watch. I might have stayed up longer than I should have last night again.
Hey, the Husky, that was pretty good.
It was a good race.
Yeah, I mean, considering how much rain they got, they put on a good show.
Yep.
They really did. So,
And we had to watch because our good buddy Lee was down there racing, so I had to stay up and watch that. And then while that one got done, they're going to start the other one, so I stayed up. And
yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Now I need a nap. But that's just because I'm old.
Oh, man.
But how was the 360s? You guys had a fancy booth to sit in this time.
You know, my brother Joel, give him a big shout out because
I don't give him a real big one. It is Joel.
But this was really cool.
Well, that's
so, but Joel, through some work, found a way for us to get some sweets. And Ellen and Chad, if they happen to be listening, you can't thank them enough. They like absolutely spoil you. You know, I think the first night we had brisket from the Rib Shack beside it there, where we kind of always eat. And then the second night was ribs. And then it was all the beer, all the, pop, whatever you wanted to drink. He made some Jello shots. I didn't have any, but Joel and those other guys did and stuff. So I was driving everybody home so they could have as much fun as they wanted.
Gotta have one of them nowadays.
Yeah, but it was, it's something that I probably won't forget for a little while because it was pretty dang cool. So probably one of the best, I kind of posted it on Facebook, and probably the best comment on there was from a local guy here, Steve Mulkins, that says, I'm jealous. And just so you know, that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah. I saw that one.
So that was pretty cool. The race, oh man, we're Reitzel fans because of Fulkins, and to lose that one right at the end there.
Had the race in the bag. Then the red comes out.
Yeah. So.
But it was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Even with the results. But.
Yeah. So feel bad for Garrett Williamson and Caleb Johnson because they're.
They've been running locals. Caleb's a local.
Garrett, not to get political or anything, but he's kind of lost the ride since then
now.
And stuff. So,
silly season's been going on for a month now already.
It's just crazy. And that's right in the middle of Nationals. You know that happens.
There's people everywhere getting different rides and whatnot.
We are going to try and sell some stuff. If anybody's down at Knoxville, we're heading down there Friday. We're not going to sell anything Friday because... we're not going to get there in time to do anything on Friday. So we'll get down there for the race on Friday and watch it. But then on Saturday, Turn 2 Lodge. I think it's I'm trying to remember the address. I was trying to look it up, but I can't remember it. But it's just off Turn 2, down the sidewalk a little bit to the north, right there on Highway 14.
Not even a block hardly from the track.
So... and we don't have much. We have koozies. We have a few stickers left. We have some golf ball markers. Everything's just $5. And, we don't make any money off this. Everything that we sell, we're pretty much just selling at, a price that half of it goes to our heroes. Half we paid for to buy it. The other half is going to, our heroes' dreams out in California. So, just supporting the veterans and first responders out there and for everything they're doing for them out there with our relationship with Sean Quinn. So we're probably going to do that around 1 to 3. We're just going to do it for a couple hours. We don't want to sit there all day.
Got stuff to look at.
Yeah, we need to enjoy it too. So Tobe and I will sit there from 1 to 3, or one of us will do it for an hour and split. I don't know. We'll figure out what we're doing, but we'll be there. So, again, Turn 2 Lodge is where we're at, and it's just north of Turn 2, right on the sidewalk. You got the Rib Shack, and we're right down there. So, other than that, we have. I'm really looking forward to tonight because. Isaac Schreurs, I talked to him at one of the races up at Huset's, and I said, Isaac, is there any way I could do a podcast with you? And he's like, why? And I'm like, well, you did some amazing things when you were racing,
you got
Isaac.
a great story.
You know, and so I'm really looking forward to this.
I am too. It's going to be a good one, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we come back, we'll have Isaac Schreurs on. All right, we're back at Hoagie's Garage, and we have Isaac Schreurs on. How you doing tonight, Isaac?
Hey, doing good, guys. I appreciate you having me on. How are you?
We're doing great. You know,
it's weather that I like. This is way better than last week and the week before.
Yeah, Toad's not dying. So,
no.
And I started football practice this week, so we go from about 8 o'clock in the morning till about 11:30. Take a little half-hour break in the middle, and you know, life's all good. So it's that time of season, football season.
Football and school is starting right around the corner here.
Well, let's say football and racing season.
Okay. Well, racing's been going on for a while.
Yeah, you bet. Isaac, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, anything like that. How old are you?
Yeah, you bet. So I'm 32 years old, and my wife and I, we live right here in Brandon, South Dakota, and we've got a 9-month-old named Sterling. And we just got back to the South Dakota area after spending a year down in Texas for my job.
So what was that? What brought you to Texas, and what part?
Yeah, we moved to Austin, Texas. I actually got a job working for Elon Musk at the Tesla Gigafactory that they were building down there. So we sold our house, packed our bags, and moved down there. And I worked for Elon for a year.
Okay. Well, then you're smarter than I am. I don't think I can get a job with Elon Musk other than sweeping up the bathrooms or something.
Yeah, you know, the whole opportunity was really divine, and we worked hard to get to that point that we could make it all work. And so we had the opportunity, and my wife and I decided to go down there and make it happen.
You bet. That's great.
So then what brought you back to the area here then?
Yeah, so we finished my job down there with Tesla. We got the building completed to a point where I could move on from that project. And also that was about the same time we found out we were going to have Sterling. So combined got us to come back to South Dakota, and we actually live in the same neighborhood that we lived in before, but one street over and on top of the hill.
Oh, can't beat that. At least you can find your way home.
Yeah, exactly.
So I gotta ask, being you got the new baby, did you get one that sleeps at night, or are you sleep deprived now?
Oh, he does terrific at night, and I'm so blessed. My wife is fantastic. She handles most of that stuff at night, since she gets to stay home all day, and then I generate the revenue. So we got a nice system.
You bet. We lost you a little bit there. I don't know if you moved a little bit or not, but it's starting to break up just a little bit there. But let's get into racing. How old were you when you started racing?
Yeah, I hope you can hear me better now.
Yep.
Okay, terrific. Well, yeah, I'll just start at the beginning. I'll make it real quick for you guys. I know podcast. I listen to a lot of podcasts, so I want to be as entertaining as possible for you guys. But we'll see what I can do. When I was 8 years old, I got a dirt bike, and we lived out on a farm in the country. So that's how it all got started. My dad and I rode dirt bikes around the farm, and in the ditches, and hitting the field approaches and in there, and we just loved it. So I raced motocross from age 11 to 14 when I got paralyzed racing at Saddleback here in Renner, South Dakota, and it was a fluke accident. I broke my back, dislocated my spinal column, and pinched my spinal cord, and paralyzed from the chest down. And I spent 10 days at the hospital in Sioux Valley at the time, here in Sioux Falls, and then we went up to St. Paul, Minnesota for Gillette Children's Rehab Hospital for about 6 weeks. And then I got out of the hospital, and I moved on from there. But it took a couple of years before we got back into me physically doing some racing as a paraplegic now. And once we did, we started with a 50cc dirt bike, and we put training wheels on it just so I could go cruise around. And it was fun for my age. And then the next thing we did is we bought a four-wheeler and made that so I could ride it safely. And we did some racing with that. And then next thing you know, Robbie Wolfgang was racing motocross with us, and he started racing sprint cars. And that's kind of the avenue that we took to get into sprint cars, if I recall correctly.
So you watched, being Robbie went from motocross to that, then you got the itch to try sprint cars, basically what you're saying.
Yeah, right. So we used to just hang out motocross-wise, and then, we would go to Doug's shop every once in a while there in T and sit in his race car and just check it out. And, one day we were looking at it and we're like, hey, this thing's just gas, brake, and steering, because we didn't know anything about sprint cars. And I wonder if we could make this into something I could do.
So before we get into the sprint cars, how did you make the four-wheeler safe for you to drive? That seems like a lot more moving parts and stuff. So how did you guys rig up the four-wheeler so you could drive everything?
Okay, so I'll start with my feet. We had Nerf bars on the quad, so that helped keep your feet safe. But you strap your feet in, and once your feet are strapped in, you can go up to your waist, and I strapped my waist into a custom-made seat that gave me the proper support so that I could, stay balanced on the quad. And then up on the handlebars, we just had a thumb throttle.
Yeah.
And we had a left-hand hydraulic rear brake versus the foot brake. And then we put a pneumatic shifter on it that used battery power to shift. Shift gears. Yep.
Push a button then and just shift the gear for you.
Yep, and then in addition to that, we also put a recluse clutch in it, which, if you don't know, is an automatic clutch that still allows you to shift, but it kind of works like a snowmobile would work.
Sure.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, had a lot of fun, and thankfully was so blessed that I never had a wreck with that thing, because looking back, strapped onto that four-wheeler, if I was to go over, it wouldn't have been good. So
no, you're going to be stuck on it then. So
yeah, so grateful that I was careful enough to never let that happen.
Yeah, that's cool.
So let's jump ahead to the sprint car. Obviously, you had to have the hand controls again with that. But what was that like the first time you fired that up?
Yeah, so I'll take you back to the beginning of that. It was, 2010, and if you guys remember, that was when the Schwenke 305 motors were around this area, and we had a class in Houston that we could race. And so that class, ultimately didn't work out because we don't have it nowadays, but it did allow me and a handful of other guys to get into sprint car racing, which was the goal. So once we heard about that Schwenke motor program with the 305 being affordable and being a little bit more user-friendly for a beginner and someone using hand controls, that is when we actually bought a race car from Tim Schwenke. That was his car and his motor.
Okay.
And he helped us develop the very, very first hand control. And it was nice because he could use his dyno to make sure everything was working properly with the hand control.
Make sure you're getting full throttle when you needed it or wanted it.
Right, exactly. And we went through a lot of iterations of hand controls over the years, but really I have to give the credit to Tim Schwenke and my dad and a handful of other people that got us off the ground to start.
So, what I have to ask, your mom and dad, you have an accident and you break your back, you get paralyzed, and now you're getting back into racing. Were they all for that? Was this you pushing for it? Did they want you to do something to be active again? What was all going on there?
Yeah, no, that's a valid question, and I would definitely say, I always had full family support. I got an amazing family. My mom and my dad, my sister, awesome support structure around me. And what I have to say is, my dad and I were equally passionate about racing, whether it was motocross or whether it was sprint cars. So, we were like-minded. So anything I wanted to do, he wanted to do, and kind of vice versa. Anything he wanted to do, I'm like, yeah, let's do that. So my dad and I, of course, really, really bonded over the racing. And, my mom, of course, was supportive and came to races to watch. But, of course, as all moms, it made her really nervous, and she probably didn't love it, as much as we wanted to. But everyone was cohesive, and I had a good supportive family with it.
I'm guessing most moms aren't that excited about racing, period. if it got right down to it. I mean, it's all fine and dandy when you're winning or something, but there's always that thought pattern for a mom.
Yeah, of course. And then, obviously being a paraplegic in a race car is not the smartest, safest situation to be in, but, we were careful.
Yep.
And thankfully never had anything catastrophic happen.
Yeah, and we'll maybe get back to that question right there when we come back from a quick break. All right, Isaac?
You bet.
All right. Doing awesome. Coming through loud and clear. I don't know, yeah, just like a brief, maybe 2 seconds, you kind of broke up just a little bit. But other than that, it's been absolutely awesome.
Okay, awesome.
So I think when we come back here, because I'm done already with what I had to do, I'm just going to, bring up, were you ever worried about having the accident? And, what, I don't know, was there extra steps of precaution? So in case you were, or something like that, I think is how I'm going to kind of start it when we come back here. Okay?
Okay. Yep.
All right, and we're back at Hoagie's Garage. So, Isaac, were you ever worried about accidents in the sprint car? Was there extra precautions or anything like that you guys took? I'm just thinking in my mind right away, I see the Carson Macedo accident and there's fire. I'm thinking, how the heck are you getting out of that car? So I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, when I was younger, I didn't think about safety as much as I probably should have.
Isn't that all of us, though?
Yeah, that is. I got in the car and I felt the 400 or 500 horse, and I'm like, let's go, let's do this thing. But to answer your question, of course, I always had a good race suit. I always had the full fireproof underwear, headstock, good gloves. I had a custom fitted seat to fit my smaller sized body. I had all the good safety equipment that you could get from the start. And another thing we did to make everyone feel more comfortable with that situation is when we went to racetracks that I hadn't been to before, we made sure that we brought the safety crew over, explained to them my situation, and kind of showed them how we did things, how we got in and out of the car, and what it would take to actually extract me if needed. And a lot of times we raced at Huset's over and over, or I-90, or Jackson, and so those guys got to know me really well. And like Jay Major and his whole crew, they always did awesome. And so, like I say, whenever we went to a new track, we just made sure that the safety crew was aware of my situation, and they kind of knew what to do. But I will say, we never did have a fire suppression unit on the race car back in those days. And
No.
I know they're mandatory nowadays, which I think is a great addition to the vehicle, no matter how you look at it. But we never did have that when I raced.
No. So I'm sure, like everybody, there's a learning curve to that. But you were getting it figured out there towards the end. I mean, I know you even won a few races, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. The 2 races that I won were both the weekends after the Knoxville Nationals. So.
Oh, really?
2 weeks. Yep. And to go into your question further, we were doing something that wasn't meant to be done. So, sprint cars aren't meant to be driven by hand.
Yeah.
So we had realistic expectations of when we went out there, what were we going to accomplish tonight? You know, and if my dad and I, you know, if we could put together a race car, a 360, and go out there and make the A main and finish all 20, 25 laps, that was a win for us in most cases. And, you know, as a fan, someone may be watching that, they may not understand why do they keep going out there if they're never winning. But, you know, just racing, being in the car, making laps, finishing races, that was just so fun for us, and we're just so grateful we got to do that for as long as we did.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Everybody
and
has
enjoyable.
different goals
Yeah.
in life, and you know that's a perfect goal for you guys. But
Yeah.
then you end up winning some.
Yeah.
So, you know, different goals as the years go on, right?
Yeah, and if you look at the one win I did have in the 360 class, it was towards, I think it was 2014, if I recall. But that was when my hand controls got really dialed in, and I had the steering gear in a position that was very comfortable, and I could last a lot longer in features. That the main problem was I would get arm pumps so bad, I'd fall out of the seat, and I just couldn't keep going. So when the hand controls got to a point where they were very comfortable, and we got to a point where we could set the car up to make it drive well, and then match that up with a pole starting position, and then match that up with a great racetrack, we could pull off a win. So we were grateful for that.
Well, it's more than me and Bud are going to do. I'll guarantee that, because ain't neither one of us going to ever get in one. So
I won't
Yeah,
fit.
no, well, they make big ones, Bud. They make wide chassis.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'll tell you a fun story about that night we won down in Park Jefferson at the ASCS regional race. That was a Minnesota Mafia sponsored race, if you guys recall those guys.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Shane and the crew. Yeah, so at the drivers' meeting, before the night started, we were sitting next to those guys, and they had a feature winning board that they hold up for the feature winner. And they're like, hey, Isaac and Jeff, you guys want to take this and put it in your trailer tonight until we need it, because we don't want to carry it around all night. And so my dad's like, of course we'll take it. We're going to win tonight anyways. And we were just joking around and having fun, and we were all laughing about it. Sure enough, we carry that thing back to the trailer. We put it in there. We go out for hot laps, have a good session. My dad goes up and draws, pulls out a 1, start pole on the heat race, made the redraw. My dad goes up and draw for us again, pulls a 1, started on the pole, led all 25 laps, and took that board home. So, I mean, just an amazing story.
That is, so that's one of my questions that I had left was, your best memory. That's probably got to be it. But do you have any other memories of racing?
Yeah, I got a couple. Of course, being in the racing industry for 10 years, you really get to develop a lot of relationships with awesome people all throughout the Midwest, and really throughout the country, as you guys know. And that one of my best memories is just meeting a lot of heroes and a lot of people that I looked up to along the way that really respected me. Like Brian Brown, he just won the 360 Nationals last Saturday, and with an awesome finish. And every time I see him at the racetrack, he always waves and yells, "Hey, Isaac," says, "How's it going?" And so just being able to develop those relationships with people in the industry is such a great memory. And then the second one would be, spending time with my dad, building race cars and doing car maintenance and stuff. When you're doing it, it's miserable sometimes, and you're working so hard and you're filthy. But, looking back, that was when I really had a great time. It was just accomplishing building a race car, going to a race with my dad.
Building the memories that you'll have forever.
Yeah, exactly. And we got to do it for 9 years. And, hey, I should also add in the Chili Bowl in there. That was pretty cool when I got to race that a few times. So I should have added.
Oh, that's
Didn't-
cool. I
didn't
never
know you
knew
did
that you made it down there.
Yeah, I raced the Chili Bowl, I believe 3 or 4 times. And the first time was with Shane Neal in the Great Clips midget. And it was an awesome experience.
Oh yeah, we got that on our bucket list of things we need to go down and see yet. Which our bucket list is pretty big.
Our bucket list is like 5 pages long, and we have not even half of the first page done. We're trying to win the lottery so we can go. I
bought some tonight again, by the way. I bought another one, so just in case. I don't know what we do with $1.5 billion, but I'm sure we could think of something.
And this is just my thought, but I think, you know how you said Brian Brown always says hi to you and stuff like that, and I personally think you gain the respect of so many drivers by what you did and were willing to do to get back on the track.
Yeah, you know, I definitely see that, and I'm sure grateful people recognize it, but you know, I just wanted to be me, and I got the opportunity to be. I think I would have done the same thing if I wasn't paralyzed, so I'm just so blessed and thankful that I got to do it the way I did, and you know, I wasn't always doing it for the right reasons back in the day, but nowadays looking back, it's just everything I do, I like to do to glorify the Lord, and I'm just so grateful that I got to, you know, inspire or just create hope for people out there, and I'm just happy that I was the one that got to do that.
Yeah, you're helping people that are in your same situation, realizing that they can do what they want to if they set their mind to it, and that's an outstanding thing to do. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, thank you. I sure appreciate it. And like I say, all the glory to the Lord. He handles it all, and just grateful to be a conduit for Him.
You bet. We're going to move on to some rapid fire questions just to find out.
We don't want to keep you too long.
A little bit more about you. And if there's anything else you want to mention at the end, feel free to do so. But what's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
I am going to go with vanilla.
Okay.
It sounds boring, but hey, I like a good vanilla.
You're not the only one.
Do you add stuff to it, or you just like vanilla?
Yeah, you know, I do add stuff to it. I like to add a little bit of peanut butter to it.
Ooh, that'd be all right.
That's
getting close to like monster cookie dough or something like that. They had that up north. That's really good.
I'm into like chocolate and some walnuts added on it.
Walnuts, yeah. Okay. I can't have that, so.
Let's see, where are we at now? Okay, cat
just
or dog
number two,
person?
Joe. We're
number two. We're number two. We're already lost yet. We're just started. You cat or a dog person, I think.
Okay, so I had a dog for 14 years. A lot of listeners that knew me back in May probably remember Stella. She came to all the races with me. She's a black lab. So, of course, I loved her. But now that she has passed away, I have moved on, and I am now a cat person.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
We got a black cat, and black and white, I should say, and her name is Dale. So.
Dale?
Yep.
Okay.
That's interesting. Do you have any hobbies?
Yes, hobbies. Oh gosh, man, I sound boring now all of a sudden. But you know, I like to exercise, get to the gym. You know, I've really been studying a lot for my career, and it's been taking up a lot of my time. So I really don't have a hobby right now. Wow, that sounds boring. You know, I like to keep up with racing, you know, sprint cars, motocross, NASCAR, and then, you know, I like to keep up with the PGA Tour golf tournaments and watch those, and that's what I fill my time with right now.
Sounds good to me.
I have to ask though. You talked about your career. What is your job actually? You have like a title, or are you an engineer, or what are you actually?
Yeah, I'm a fire protection engineer.
Okay, so you're in charge of all the fire suppression systems in that, like the Elon's big building then?
Yeah, correct. I was one of the many engineers that was involved. But yeah, we work on fire suppression, fire alarm, and life safety.
Well, I would imagine you weren't building a 2-stall garage down there, so.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, massive building down there.
I bet. I can't even imagine. But anyways, back to our question now. We're sidetracked. How about a favorite movie?
Favorite movie would be Tremors, the original.
Oh, that's going back there.
My wife loves that movie.
That's a good old movie.
Yeah.
Reba's in it.
So, are you a snow or rain guy? Which do you prefer?
I like snow.
Okay.
If you were going to be stranded on an island, what album or genre of music would you have to listen to?
Worship music.
Okay,
Perfect.
that's good. I was just going for no country, and you didn't say country, so I can go with that.
Okay.
Where's your favorite place to go out to eat?
Favorite place? I've been eating less red meat as I grow older, but man, I would love to get a good steak and Sioux Falls. I can't beat Minerva's.
Minerva's, there you go. What's?
Yeah, it's.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, Minerva's is just a really nice night out with my wife. We've gone there a few times. We really enjoyed ourselves. So.
What's your best meal that you make?
Well, I can grill. I don't grill often, but I can grill. And I'll grill my wife some good chicken, and that's probably about it. She's been doing a lot of the cooking lately.
What's her best meal? And be careful
Yeah,
here.
careful now on this one. Don't want to get you in trouble.
Yeah, no, she has got so many, but I
Oh,
really
that was a great comment
Yeah,
right there.
good
She
answer.
has so many.
It's hard to pick.
But a homemade pizza that she makes is the best.
All right.
That works. Pizza's
sounds
always
good.
good. How about a favorite holiday?
Favorite holiday? I've always really enjoyed Thanksgiving.
You bet.
Food.
What app on your phone do you use the most?
YouTube Premium.
How many speeding tickets have you gotten over the years?
Now, I've only gotten a handful. I don't recall the exact amount, probably like 2 or 3, but I haven't gotten one in 10 plus years.
You better knock on some wood or
Yeah.
something there. I'd hate for you to get one tomorrow.
Yeah, I put a lot of miles on too, so it's been a while.
Oh, that's good. But you haven't got caught, but what is the fastest you've ever driven on the highway or been with somebody on the highway?
Oh, in a vehicle, I think I'm about 132.
Okay.
And on a crotch rocket, I think we got up to like 160.
Oh, baby. That's getting up there on a motorcycle.
Yeah, we were flying.
Literally, if you hit a little hill in the road or a little crest.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your favorite thing to drink?
Favorite thing to drink would be... Oh, man, I drink a ton of water. Oh, you know what it is right now? I really like Black Rifle coffee.
Oh, okay. I don't drink coffee.
Neither one of us are coffee guys. So,
Okay.
so what's Black Rifle? What's that?
Oh, you see them sponsor all the time. They're on a lot of, don't they sponsor, oh crap, what's his name? Does all them crazy stunts and races.
Yeah, Travis Pastrana.
Yeah, him. Don't they sponsor him?
Yep, and it's a veteran-owned company, military-based design and advertisement stuff, but just great coffee, really good stuff.
I can remember stuff, bud, just not names.
Yeah.
Maybe you've never thought of this, but is there a certain car, a pickup, or anything that you've always dreamed of owning if money was not an issue?
Yeah, the first one would be an El Camino.
Okay.
I want an orange El Camino.
Like an old one?
Yeah.
Well, there ain't any new ones.
No, but I mean like really old or...
Yeah,
Okay.
like in 1990s, I think. And then, here's the realistic one. I'm not a fan of, like you say, if money was an option, I'm not a fan of financing things. So I would get a Volkswagen Golf R.
Okay.
I don't know what that is, but I'll have to look it up.
It's a car.
Yeah, it's a little all-wheel drive 2.0, 400 horse from the factory. Just a really fun car to drive. And if you've never drove one, you don't know what you're missing. It's a really
We're going to have to go
fun
up for a
drive.
test drive, bud.
There we go.
We'll go up in our best outfit and look like we can afford it, and we'll go for a test drive.
Did
Yeah.
Volkswagen used to make like a Golf or something like that? Or it was like a little box car. I remember riding in Howie Boat's thing. I thought it was like a Volkswagen Golf or something. I don't know.
That's what it is. It's a little 4-door hatchback car, but you got to make sure that you get the R version because
R for racing.
Yep, it's a different chassis and different engine package than all the other Golfs. So the R version's the special, well-handling one. The rest are just okay.
Interesting. Interesting.
Now we know. Like I said, we gotta go for a test drive. Just remember R for racing bike.
Yep, there we go.
Yep.
Well, that's all the questions we got for you, Isaac. I just have to kind of, on my part, end it with my son, Riley Hugavine. He was a little, skinny little kid, but back when he loved to go to the races with me, you were his number one guy. And he would always go up to you at Huset's and say hi to you and stuff like that. And you were always great to him, and I really appreciate that. I'm sure you don't remember him at all, but you were always unbelievably great to him, and that always meant the world to him. So I really appreciate you taking the time just talking to, the kids and stuff like that when you were a race car driver.
Wow, that's so great to hear, and just thankful to be, looked up to in that capacity, and because I know what it's like to look up to people, and I'm just grateful to have been raised a somewhat good young gentleman, and better now, but I'm just grateful to have been looked up to in that capacity by your son and yourself. So
Quite a few of us, I think, can say we've maybe gotten a little better with age.
yeah, probably.
We realized some of the things we were doing maybe we shouldn't have been doing, or now we're a little smarter than we were maybe, but
Yeah,
anyways.
For sure.
You bet.
Thanks a ton for coming on our little show, Isaac. We really appreciate it, and we wish you the best.
Yeah, thanks for having me, you guys. And I know how much work it is to put on a podcast and get people on here, and take some time in your week. And so I'm just grateful for the hard work you guys are putting in, and I wish you guys best with any future shows. And thanks again.
All right. Sounds
you.
great. Thanks.
You bet. Thank you.
All right. And we were right.
Great story. Great kid.
When something happens like that, some people never get out of it.
No.
And I do give his mom and dad, I'm just thinking now as a parent if that was my kid.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I don't know if I could let my kid get back out there and race. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But huge credit goes out to mom and dad just for having the faith, that he's going to be okay and he's going to do everything all right.
Like I said when we were talking to him, stress level, mom had to be nervous a lot, I would think.
Yeah.
So was dad, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But, any parent is when your kid's racing, period.
Yeah.
And this is just with extra circumstances, but.
And then, to go on and work like he is and,
doing well for himself, evidently.
Yeah. Has a kid.
Busy.
Yeah.
Great.
So-
Like I said, it was just a great story. It was fun to, I don't know how to say it was fun. It was very entertaining to listen to it.
Absolutely.
Because I remember him racing, but I didn't know the whole story back then.
Yep.
And it was really great to get the understanding of the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So thanks for Isaac for coming on, and I hope you guys really enjoyed that. And everybody enjoy Knoxville week.
Yeah.
Tobe and I are definitely going to enjoy Knoxville week, right, Tobe?
Got lots of racing to watch.
All right.